Okay, shall we start? So we have already completed the section number 148. हमने पढ़ लिया था 148 के बारे में कि in the 148 में we understood so many things relating to कि cost audit is not a which audit? Statutory. It is in addition to what? Statutory. Rather, it is also not a periodical and yearly audit. What is the reason behind it is not yearly audit or periodical audit? Because it is a turnover based audit and turnover sometimes may not breach the level which they have set up by the government. फिर हमने उसके बारे में पढ़ा था कि कॉस्ट ऑडिट में बेसिकली वी डू द ऑडिट ऑफ कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स एंड विच आर द रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल एंड लेबर एप्लीकेबल टू दीज इंडस्ट्रीज एंड ओनली हु कैन डू प्रैक्टिसिंग सीएमए कैन डू. फिर मैंने तुम्हें बताया था देयर आर टोटल हाउ मेनी रूल्स 6 रूल्स बट उसमें से ओनली 2 रूल्स वी हैव डन इन 148 द रूल नंबर 3 एंड रूल नंबर 4. रूल नंबर 3 क्या बोलता है कि इफ यू आर any of these industries and if your turnover is greater than equals to 35 crores so you have to start maintaining the which records cost records. and rule number 4 में बोलता है कि it is your cost audit rule. तो हमने क्या करा था all the 6 basically areas has been divided into 39 industries. 39 industries में 6 are regulated and 33 are unregulated. What are the 6 which are regulated? Sugar industry, telecom industry, electricity, then petroleum, then pharma and drugs and drugs and pharma. So these are the industries which are called as category A as well as 6 industries or unregulated में 33. But what is the turnover limit? If you are in the list A category, if you belong to those 6 industries, if your turnover in the financial year is greater than equals to 50 crores and the turnover from those goods and services for which cost records are required should also be greater than equals to 25. तो आपके ऊपर cost audit क्या हो जाएगा? Mandatory. But do we have to satisfy one of the condition or both of them? Or sometimes if the another one condition is not satisfied, audit will not take place. And same way, if you are belonging to the list B category, so your annual turnover should be greater than equals to 100 crores and overall turnover from goods and services for which cost records are required shall be greater than equals to 35 crores. And what does the cost auditor considers while doing the audit? He considers CAS, CAAS and GACAP, cost accounting standards, cost auditing and assurance standards, and generally accepted cost accounting principle. So what are the 4 things he can't do? आप स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट नहीं कर सकते, जीएसटी नहीं कर सकते, टैक्स नहीं कर सकते, इंटरनल. इट मीन्स इफ यू आर ऑलरेडी होल्डिंग एनी ऑफ दीज पोजीशंस, you can't be the cost auditor of the same company, or if you are a cost auditor, you can't do any of these positions in the same company. Next point, who appoints you everyone? Board of directors, and to be appointed by the board of directors within 180 days from the commencement of financial year. And as and when you have been appointed, your intimation will be given to the central government in form number CRA2 within 30 days. एंड अगर आपका कॉस्ट ऑडिटर का रेजिग्नेशन होता है, डेथ होती है या रिमूवल होता है, अगेन द बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स विल फिल अप कैजुअल वैकेंसी एंड अगेन यू नीड टू री इंटीमेट टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इन फॉर्म नंबर CRA2. Completion of audit, the time period is 180 days from the end of the financial year, and after the completion you will be sending the cost audit report in form number CRA3 to the board of directors, on which you can put some modifications and reservations. And what is the board's responsibility? To put the comments on those modifications and reservation. The board cost audit report plus board comments, they have to send it to whom? Central government within how many days? 30 days in form number CRA4. तो हमने 2 रूल्स करे थे और 4 फॉर्म्स करे थे, CRA1, CRA2, CRA3 and CRA4. Now please tell me what is the extension I told you? What is the like amendment I told you? बहुत सिंपल सा amendment था. In case the company fails to conduct its what AGM on time, so company sometimes can go to whom? ROC. And if the ROC has given some extension to conduct that what AGM, that extended time period will add it in what 30. So 30 plus that extension will be the new time period within which the board has to send this report to whom? Central government. तो ये जो हमारा यहाँ पे extension देता है by whom? ROC will become the extension in these 30 days. And finally, I told you कि powers and duties and qualification and disqualification same as which auditor? Statutory. But in case of removal, you will be removed also by the board of directors after opportunity of being Heard, and by passing a which resolution? And these are the 5 industries who get the exemption under the 148 section. What are the 5? If you are a manufacturing company meeting all the requirements, but you are operating from SEZ. What is SEZ? Or if you are a 100% EOU small medium enterprise, and what is this EOU? More than 75%. It means out of your total turnover, more than 75% is coming in the foreign currency. And last but not the least, if you're a company having your own power plant, you are generating and utilizing that energy for your captive consumption. So that brings an end to our section number 148. तो अभी तक जो हमने किया उसमें कोई डाउट है 148 में क्लियरली अंडरस्टूड. सो हमें अभी रेगुलेटेड सेक्टर्स भी पता है एंड अनरेगुलेटेड सेक्टर्स ऑल्सो वी नो. Now after the rule 3 and rule 4, then cost audit rule number 6. ये rules अपन बाद में करेंगे because they are practical based area. ठीक है, अभी अपन थोड़ा सा extra topics करेंगे. What else you have in the company audit parts? So these are the industries which we have done. You can see that 6 industries are regulated one. These are regulated and the remaining 33 are what? Unregulated sectors. तो उसमें सिर्फ you just have to concentrate on regulated one. Unregulated is other than regulated, right? So these are the applicability of cost audit which we have already discussed. To whom it is not applicable, you can see that revenue from export more than 75% if you are operating from SEZ zone, or if you have your own power plant using it for captive consumption. Maintenance of records, everyone. These are the next topics we have to do. Now see, every company under these rules, all including all the units and branches thereof, shall in respect of each of its financial year commencing on or after first day of April 2014. As I already told you, कि cost records and audit rules actually came into India in 2014. When the companies at 2013 came, on the same day these rules came. So what is the cost records का form number is CR1. पहले तो मेरे को चारों forms बताओ. What is CRA 1, 2, 3, 4? Cost record CRA1, intimation to central government CRA2, CRA3 is a cost audit report, and CRA4 is cost audit report plus board comment sending to whom? Central government, right? Now, provided that in case of company covered in serial number 12 and serial number 24 to 32 of item B of 3 rules, the requirement under this rule shall apply in respect of each of its financial year commencing on or after 2015. So what they are saying? Serial number 12 and serial number 24 to 32. So what is serial number 12? Which industry? Coffee and tea. And 22 to 22. One second. What was that? 24 to 32. So what is 24 to 32? These one. So milk powder, insecticides, plastic. It means for them, it is starting from 1st April 2015. And what is above? Coffee and tea. So it is also 1/4/2015. For the remaining all the unregulated sectors in the B, the cost records have started implemented on them from 1st April 2014. So that can be the probable MCQ question. ठीक है, वो मैं आपको बाद में पढ़वा दूंगा and I'll make you write as well. Next point पढ़ो. The cost records referred to sub-rule 1 shall be maintained on regular basis in such manner as to facilitate the cost of per unit of cost of production or cost of operation. See, cost audit may take place, may not take place every year. But once the cost records are becoming applicable to you, you have to start maintaining it every year. Did you get the point? Next point. What is the purpose behind the cost records? We prepare the cost records अभी पढ़ना है क्या लिखा है? To facilitate what? Calculation of per unit of cost of production or cost of operation or cost of sales and margin for its products and services for every financial year on monthly basis, quarterly basis, half yearly or annually. तो पर्पस बिहाइंड द कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स क्या होता है? जैसे मैं तो बताता हूँ, सम ऑफ द कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स आर रिलेटिंग टू योर कैपेसिटीज. जैसे आपके मान लो you have a one machinery which has 10,000 units in a year production capacity, but you are using that machinery only for 50% capacity. It means you are only producing 5,000 units in a year. It means what is your idle capacity? And you know that idleness is a natural loss or abnormal loss? Abnormal. That is purely whose control? Management control. If it is a normal loss, we can put it on the shoulders of whom? Consumer. Natural loss is always forwarded to the consumer by adding it in the cost of production. So why cost records are maintained? Cost records are basically maintained to make you understand कि what should be your exact cost per unit. उसमें natural कितना है, abnormal कितना है, what is your margin that particular unit, and to calculate it on monthly basis, quarterly basis, semi-annual basis and annual basis. That is the purpose behind maintaining the which records? Cost records. Cost records shall be maintained in such manner as to enable the company to exercise as far as possible control over the various operations and costs to achieve optimum economies in the utilization of what? Resources. These records shall also provide the necessary data which is required to be furnished under these rules. देखो क्या होता है, अगर आप किसी चीज को orally सुनते हो, try to understand. If you hear something orally and if I'll give you something in writing, which is more retainable in future? सेम वे अगर आपको इस साल पता है कि आपकी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन यू कैन इम्प्रोवाइज, कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स का बेसिक, द सेकंड बेसिक आइडिया ऑफ मेंटेनिंग द कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स इज टू मेक द कंपनी रियलाइज द फैक्ट दैट कि वेयर योर ओवर कॉस्टिंग इज हैपनिंग एंड वेयर योर अंडर कॉस्टिंग इज हैपनिंग, सो दैट यू कैन हैव द ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ व्हाट? रिसोर्सेज. जैसे इफ आई हैव अ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी which can produce at 10,000 units, you all know that when you scale up the things, what happens to the cost of production? When you scale the things, scale means when you increase the volume of production, what happens to the cost per unit? Decreases. So don't you think that should I keep my plant and machinery 50% idle or should I utilize it? Utilize it. क्योंकि आप जितना ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन करोगे उतने आपका cost of production will reduce. तो idea behind the cost record is to make you realize the fact that कि where your costing is going over excess or where your costing is going under, so that you can do the maximum and the optimum utilization of what? Resources. मान लो जैसे मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ हैदराबाद मेट्रो रेल प्रोजेक्ट है. अब हैदराबाद मेट्रो रेल प्रोजेक्ट का it was passed in 2002, was about to get completed by 2015. 13 years का gestation time period था. First of all, it started in the 2007, 5 years delay. Then 2009 में construction started. 2009 से लेके today is 2023. So far the full Hyderabad is not covered under the word metro. There are only 3 lines I think of the metro. पूरा हैदराबाद तो covered नहीं है. आप दिल्ली के मेट्रो देखो, एक एक कॉर्नर covered है. And they made sure it to get completed in 13 years. अपने यहाँ पे almost 15 years हो गए. First of all, the cost is also doubled. Within the budgeted cost or beyond the budgeted? और यहाँ पे हुआ क्या, प्रॉब्लम क्या हुई? They already hired the engineers since 2002, but they were not put to the use. उनको जॉब नहीं दी गई, but you have to pay the salary when you have hired someone. So that salary of idle time period was the increase in cost of production or not? Due to that, what has happened? The cost of production of the total metro project has gone beyond their what? Budgeted cost. इसे हम लोग नहीं तो but if you know that this word escalation cost भी बोलते हैं. What do we call it as? Escalation cost. तो every manufacturing organization का सबसे बड़ा issue होता है cost of production. Cost records helps you in bringing down your excessive cost of production, because when you have something in records, so you can compare your current year cost with the last year cost, whether you have improvised or you have gone up. So every company can do the improvisation if their cost records are properly maintained. That is the purpose behind the cost records. Following records would become the past of cost accounting record. But let me tell you one thing, this is not the actual list, this is the inclusive list. मतलब in future में so many things can be added and so many things can be removed. What kind of cost records you have to maintain? Say for example you are a production company. So what kind of cost records you have to maintain? Raw material consumption records, material wise and product wise. Means ये हो गया आपका RM और ये हो गया आपका FG, finished goods. Next one, production report, rejection, wastage, scrap report, machine utilization report, machine running hours, idle stoppage time report of machines with what reasons कि आपने ये machine को क्यों stop किया, क्या वो overheat हो गई थी या it was requiring some oiling and greasing. Next point, idle time of what? Labor. This is the biggest problem in the time rated companies. What do you mean by time rated labor? जहां पे आपको सैलरी किसके अकॉर्डिंग मिलती है? तो डोंट यू थिंक दैट द टाइम इज मोस्ट प्रीशियस देन? Idleness means what? suppose the lunch hours are 30 minutes, timings are 30 minutes, 1 to 1:30, but laborer आराम से मटकते हुए आ रहे हैं 2 o'clock पे, तो half an hour per laborer into 1,000 laborers in your organization, it means आप लोग already 500 hours you have lost. Your 500 hours are idle, but that cost though you have to pay, because their punch in time is morning 8 and punch out time is evening 8. उसमें वो कितना भी idleness करे, that is also the loss of hours for the home company. Next one, details of such production hours, labor hours and machine hours. Sometimes if you are in the work in progress and finished goods, records of work in progress, cost center wise and product wise, records of finished goods. ये आपको कुछ भी learn नहीं करना है. I'm just reading it out just to make you understand. Suppose repairs and maintenance records है तो कि jobs order record, card showing materials, space consumed and labor utilized. In case of workshop, additional records are described under one above. अगर if you are into your utilities like steam, power, मतलब आप power use कर रहे हो, water use कर रहे हो, if you are using air conditioning, humidification क्या होता है? What do you mean by humidification? In such companies, some companies में जैसे iron and steel companies होती हैं, वहाँ पे boilers होते हैं, furnaces होते हैं, उनका टेम्परेचर 1500 डिग्री सेल्सियस तक भी चले जाता है. हाउ यू टेक आउट दैट टेम्परेचर आउट एंड मेक इट इन अ नॉर्मल कंपेटेबल टेम्परेचर, दैट इज कॉल्ड, दैट प्रोसेस इज नोन एज ह्यूमिडिफिकेशन. देन एफिशिएंट ट्रीटमेंट. ये सारे आपके कौन से रिकॉर्ड्स हैं? ऑल दीज आर एग्जांपल्स ऑफ विच रिकॉर्ड्स? कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड. बट अगेन टेलिंग यू, दिस लिस्ट विच इज गिवन टू यू इज नॉट exhaustive, it is what? Inclusive. So cost records are always prepared as per what? CRA1. So this is the list of your all the CRA1 records. Main records का per heading 1 or 2 records I'll make you write just for your examination purpose. कि you should know that कि this is the area, this is the record, this is the area, that is the record. Next point. After that we need to do the audit of these cost records only. Please tell me आप cost records का audit कैसे करोगे? How you will do the audit of cost records? जैसे हम लोग फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट का जब ऑडिट करते हैं, वी स्टार्ट विद द ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट, देन P&L, देन बैलेंस शीट, देन कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट एंड देन नोट्स टू अकाउंट्स. दिस इज हाउ वी डू द ऑडिट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट. हाउ यू विल डू द ऑडिट ऑफ कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स? Cost records, first of all, so you will tell your client to give you the set of what? Cost records. And are you going to compare the client's cost record with the industry records? What do you mean by industry? Let's say for example, if I'm belonging to a Airtel company auditor, if I'm an auditor of Airtel, Airtel belongs to which industry? Telecom. तो आपको telecom industry के standard cost of production पता होनी चाहिए. Then only you can compare your client's records with what? Industry records, and you can understand what are the variances. Industry किस level पे चल रही है और company किस level पे चल रही है. Say for example, telecom industry is saying that कि every company in telecom sector should have 18% net profit. How much? 18%. Jio कमा रही है 29%. Airtel कमा रही है 24%. Vodafone Idea कमा रही है 4%. Which are within the industry and which are below the industry? Airtel and Jio are within the industry. They are near the industry. But which one is extremely below? It means whose production activity or whose operational activity is going in a poor way? Vodafone and Idea. तो हम लोग जब एनालिटिकल रिव्यू करते हैं ना, वी कंपेयर द इंडस्ट्री रिकॉर्ड्स विद व्हाट? क्लाइंट रिकॉर्ड्स. कि इज योर क्लाइंट मेंटेनिंग द इंडस्ट्री और नॉट. अब मेरे को ये बताओ, वाइजैक स्टील प्लांट बिलोंग्स टू विच इंडस्ट्री? आयरन एंड स्टील. स्टील अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया लिमिटेड, आयरन एंड स्टील. जिंदल स्टील्स, आयरन एंड स्टील. HMT, आयरन एंड स्टील्स. तो आयरन एंड स्टील इज अ व्हाट? इंडस्ट्री. तो यू हैव टू कंपेयर द कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ योर क्लाइंट विद द विच रिकॉर्ड्स? Industry records, to find out the variances. कि are we matching the industry standards or not, or we are below the industry standards? Clear? Now see, the categories of companies specified in Rule 3 and the threshold limits laid down in Rule 4. What is Rule 3? Cost records. क्या limit था उसका? Greater than equals to 35 crores. And the threshold limits given in Rule number 4 shall within 180 days of commencement of every year appoint a which auditor? That we already know. When the cost auditor to be appointed? 180 days from the commencement of financial year. और मैंने तुम्हें पहले ही बताया था कि we appoint the auditor in advance to start the audit later on, because auditing starts when what ends? Accounting ends. So he has to wait for the 31st March. It means इसका audit start कब होगा? 1 April से, तो when he has to complete it within 180 days from the end of the financial year. तो appointment is from commencement and completion is from end. Provided that before such appointment is made, the written consent of auditor to such appointment or a certificate for him is required. मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ एक्चुअली होता क्या है. जब हम लोग किसी ऑडिटर को अपॉइंट करते हैं ना, कंपनी डज नॉट वांट टू टेक अ रॉन्ग डिसीजन इन अपॉइंटिंग अ विच ऑडिटर, कॉस्ट ऑडिटर. तो बिफोर अपॉइंटिंग अ कॉस्ट ऑडिटर देयर आर 4 declarations which the cost auditor on his own letterhead sent to the company. What is the declaration number 1? Read. What is the declaration number 1? Individual or the firm, as a case may be, is eligible for appointment and is not disqualified for appointment under the act. That is which act? Cost and Work Accountants Act and the rules or regulations made thereunder. अब मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन का मतलब क्या होता है. लेट मी गिव यू वेरी सिंपल एग्जांपल. सपोज शी इज अ कॉस्ट ऑडिटर. आई एम द वाइजैक स्टील प्लांट. I proposed her कि would you be my cost auditor or not. Now she has to give me the 4 declarations in writing. Proposal का मतलब वही नहीं होता सर. मुझे पता तू क्यों हंसा. तेरी बात कर रहा हूं हीरो. सुन, I proposed her to be a which auditor? Cost auditor. प्रपोजल कहीं और पे ले गया. ठीक है ना. तो मैंने इनको बोला कि would you like to be my cost auditor or not. अब सुनना ध्यान से. Suppose her husband is working as a MD in my company. Her husband is already working as an MD in my company. अब मेरे को ये बताओ, will she be independent or she will be biased? So in that case, she is disqualified. There are total 11 disqualifications like this. इसमें और कंपनी में फाइनेंशियल रिलेशनशिप के साथ साथ फैमिली रिलेशनशिप भी आ जाएगा. लेट्स से एक और एग्जांपल देता हूं. सपोज आई गिवन हर अ प्रपोजल टू बी माय व्हाट, कॉस्ट ऑडिटर. उसके पहले इसको ये इंश्योर करना है कि शी शुड नॉट हैव अ फाइनेंशियल रिलेशनशिप विद द क्लाइंट. व्हाट डू मीन बाय दैट? मान लो आपके पास वाइजैक स्टील प्लांट के 40,000 शेयर्स हैं, एंड व्हाइल डूइंग द ऑडिट, बाय गॉड फॉरबिड, इफ यू वांट टू गिव अ नेगेटिव ओपिनियन, यू विल नेवर गिव. व्हाई? बिकॉज इफ शी विल गिव द नेगेटिव ओपिनियन, व्हाट विल हैपन टू द share price? Will fall down. Will it be a personal loss? So these are called disqualification. So what is the first declaration every cost auditor has to give before getting appointed? कि भैया I am not disqualified. I am qualified to be your auditor. और ये writing में declaration देंगे on her letterhead. Declaration number 1. What is the declaration number 2? The individual or the firm as may be satisfy the criteria provided under 141 of the Act. So far as may be applicable. अब 141 सेक्शन क्या बोलता है? 141 बोलता है कि you should be a qualified practicing CMA plus you should be holding a valid COP. What is COP? Certificate of Practice. तब जाके आप qualify होते हो. तो point number 1 में she is saying that I am not disqualified. Point number 2 में she is saying that I am what? Qualified. I am a qualified practicing CMA plus I am holding a valid certificate of practice. What is the third thing she is saying? Proposed appointment is within the limits laid down by or under the audit. अब मैं तुम्हें बताता हूं, आपकी लिमिट होती है 20. अगर आप कंपनी ऑडिट करते हो, आप एक 20 कंपनी से ज्यादा ऑडिट नहीं कर सकते. वन प्रैक्टिसिंग सीए, नॉट सीएमए, वन प्रैक्टिसिंग सीए cannot do more than 20 company audits, and the same practicing CA cannot do more than 60 tax audits. वैसे अपनी कॉस्ट ऑडिट की लिमिट्स भी होती. They are also being specified under section 141 subsection 3 clause G. What is the section number? Clause G. उसके अंदर अपनी लिमिट्स लिखी होती है कि how many cost audit a cost auditor can do. Let's say for example it is written like 10 cost audit. Are you getting the point? So if you are getting appointed as a cost auditor for my company and my company would be your 11th company, so you are disqualified because your maximum limit is how many? 10. So what is the third declaration she is giving? Proposed appointment is within the limits laid down by or under the authority of the Act, and list of proceedings against the cost auditor or audit firm or any partner of the firm pending in the respect of as disclosed in the certificate is true and correct. अब सुनो ध्यान से. Suppose she is a firm of cost auditors, और इस cost auditor के against so many cases are already pending in the court. She is not a good firm and her firm is having some pending cases in ICMAI, some cases in civil court, some cases in any other court. तो if that is the case, तो भैया you are disqualified. It means you have to give me a declaration कि you, your firm and your partner are clean persons. Which persons? We do not have any pending cases against me or my firm in across India. कहीं पे भी कोई केस नहीं. So these are the 4 declarations. We have to first take it from whom? Cost auditor. Then only we can appoint the cost auditor within 180 days from the commencement of financial. So what are the 4 declarations we need? First one, we are not disqualified. Point number 2, we are qualified. And point number 3, we are getting appointed and we are doing it everything within our limit. And point number 4 में, me, my partner and my firm are not having any pending cases against us in any court in India. If that, and we are declaring that कि this information what we are giving is what? True and correct. हम लोग सब सच बोल रहे हैं. क्योंकि later on if it is being found कि any of the 4 declaration which you gave was untrue, then in that case I can remove you as a which auditor? Cost auditor. And you know that when we remove the cost auditor, what will happen? Casual vacancy cost auditor will come. Again we have to intimate to the government. Everything is connected. Are you able to? Okay. Next point. Every company referred to sub rule number 1 shall inform the cost auditor about concerned his appointment, as such file a notice of such within a period of 30 days within the board meeting in which such appointment is made, and within the period of 180 days of commencement of financial year, whichever is earlier, through the form number CRA2. ये हमने already पढ़ लिया था कि once the auditor is appointed, we have to inform to the central government in form number CRA2 within how many days? 30 days. Every cost auditor as such appointed shall continue in such capacity till the expiry of what? 180 days from the closure of financial year, or till he submits a cost audit report for which he has been appointed. So what is the time period for completion of cost audit? 180 days from the end of the financial year. Provided that cost auditor appointed may be removed from his office. You already know the answer. What if we'll remove the auditor? We have to appoint the casual vacancy cost auditor. Again, we have to re-intimate to whom? Central government. In form number CRA2 within 30 days. So provided further again CRA2 to be filed with the central government for intimating the appointment of another cost auditor shall enclose with the relevant board resolution copy. I think everything is sorted which I already made you know. मैं तुम्हें ये इसलिए पढ़ा रहा हूँ ताकि तुम्हें ये फील हो कि we have not left any sentence unwritten. Everything is already covered in the 148 which I have made you write. Any casual vacancy again CRA2 within how many days? 30 days. Cost statement including other statement costs shall be approved by the board of directors before they are being signed. Director authorized for the submission of cost report. Every cost auditor who conducts an audit of cost record shall submit the cost audit report in form number CRA3. And next point, every cost auditor shall forward his duly signed report to the board within a period of 180 days from the end of the financial year, and they shall examine the report and particularly any reservations and qualification. आप इसे modification भी लिख सकते हो. Modification and reservation का मतलब होता है anything negative which I have kept. And after that rule, you already know. What if I kept any negative things in my report? It is whose responsibility to comment on those negative areas. हमको explanation कौन देगा? Board. So see, every company covered under these rules within a period of what? 30 days from the date of receipt of cost audit report furnish central government with such report along with what? Full information and explanation on every reservation in form number CRA4. अब ये जो आगे एक वर्ड लिखा हुआ है XBRL, किसी को आइडिया है इसको क्या बोलते हैं? एक्सटेंसिबल बिजनेस रिपोर्टिंग लैंग्वेज. ये ऑनलाइन ऑडिट फॉर्म होता है. दिस इज कॉल्ड व्हाट? ऑनलाइन ऑडिट फॉर्म. मतलब लिस्टेड कंपनीज का जब अपन ऑडिट करते हैं तो उनको हम लोग नॉर्मल ऑडिट रिपोर्ट नहीं देते, XBRL फॉर्म में देते. एक्सटेंसिबल बिजनेस रिपोर्टिंग. ये अपना ऑडिट रिपोर्ट करके एक चैप्टर है छोटा सा, देयर आई विल टेल यू, बट आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू द अमेंडमेंट एज वेल. This 30 days will remain 30 days or can be extended based upon extension given by the ROC to conduct your AGM. So whatever the time ROC will give you to conduct what? AGM, same extension we have to add it to 30 days. अगर मान लो ROC वहां पे 20 days देता है तो ये 30 days बन जाएंगे 50 days. If the ROC gives you the 45 days, this 30 days will become 75 days. ये देखो, this is what the provided वाला paragraph पढ़ो. Read the provided paragraph. Provided that the companies which have got an extension for timing of holding what? AGM under section 96 of the Companies Act may file CRA form with resultant extended period of फाइलिंग ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट अंडर सेक्शन 130। तो जितना एक्सटेंशन आपको वहां पे मिलेगा वो 30 में ऐड हो जाएगा। तो इट मींस दैट एक्सटेंशन पीरियड विल अफेक्ट योर CRA 4। नाउ प्रोविजंस ऑफ सबसेक्शन 12 ऑफ सेक्शन 143। अब ये वाला प्रोविजन अपने को अच्छे से पढ़ना है। व्हाट इज सेक्शन नंबर 143 सबसेक्शन 12? एनीबॉडी इज हैविंग एन आइडिया व्हाट इज दिस सेक्शन? कुछ ड्यूटी टू रिपोर्ट फ्रॉड, यस। नेक्स्ट 2 crores or more, नहीं 1 crore or more। मतलब exactly what is this section says that कि cost auditor while doing the audit, if he comes across any fraud happened on the company, so he will not keep his mouth shut. He has to report it to the central government within 60 days. How many days? But this duty is only applicable if the fraud amount is 1 crore or more. If it is less than 1 crore, then what to do? If it is less than 1 crore, you have to report it to the audit committee and board of directors of the same company within 2 days. So if the fraud amount is 1 crore or more, then it has to be reported within central government within 60 days. Do you know what to do in those 60 days? Why these 60 days have been given to you? Sorry? Evidence. You have to collect what? Evidence. So you will wait for 45 days for the board to give you the explanation. How many days? तो 45 days के बाद बचे कितने? 15 days. In 15 days you will prepare your what? Report. तो 60th day में report should be in the hands of central government. Now question arises, who is the central government? Secretary of Ministry of Corporate Affairs is the central government here, right? And this report has to be made in the form number AUDIT-4. What is the form number? और अगर आपने ये रिपोर्ट नहीं करा फ्रॉड, तो आपकी पेनल्टी है 5 lakh rupees ऑन द ऑडिटर। हाउ मेनी लैक्स? एंड इट इज नॉट अप टू 5 lakhs, इट इज एग्जैक्टली 5 lakhs इन केस ऑफ लिस्टेड कंपनी एंड 1 lakh इन केस ऑफ अनलिस्टेड कंपनी। ये सब कौन से सेक्शन में लिखा हुआ है? 143 सब। तो ये इसका मतलब पता क्या होता है? व्हाट इज दिस? मुटाटिस मुटेंडिस लॉ में पढ़ाया होगा सर ने। इसका मतलब क्या होता है? एज इट इज। मतलब 143 subsection 12 does not only cover the practicing CMAs, it does cover practicing CAs, it does cover what? Practicing CA। तो ये obligation सिर्फ CMAs के ऊपर नहीं है, it is on everyone. Either you are doing the statutory audit, cost audit or secretarial audit. Everyone is covered under 143 subsection 12. So these are the other relevant things which you should have known under this particular concept. Shall we write now? Put the heading. Miscellaneous topics. So I think most of the things though we have already written. I have to make you write some purposes and other things only. So applicability of cost records and cost. So tell me point number 1. Cost records applicability date. So let's divide it into 2 dates. What are the 2 dates, everyone? One is from 1st April 2014 and one is from 1st April 2015. I think it's better to learn for 2015 because remaining all sectors have to get covered under 1/4/2014. So what is that industry? First one, कौन सी industry थी वो? First was what? 12th one, right? Coffee and tea. Coffee and tea. And the next one was 24 से milk powder, insecticides, plastics and polymers, tires and tubes, pulp and paper, textiles, glass, other machinery, and mechanical appliances. The last one is electricals or electronic machinery. So these are the areas which are applicable from 1/4/2015. Clear? And 1/4/2014 के अंदर लिख लो remaining all sectors. Under that we can write remaining all sectors. तो ये बताना रेगुलेटेड सेक्टर के डेट क्या है? रेगुलेटेड सेक्टर में तो टोटल डेट इज फ्रॉम 1/4/2014. So it means this bifurcation is only in which case? Unregulated sector. Because so many industries kept on coming and getting removed over a period of time. Next point, everyone. What are the 4 declarations you need to file before getting appointed as a cost auditor? First one, we are not disqualified. Right. 4 declarations. Did they give you any material so far? Show me that. आज दिया क्या? First day. इसमें so many changes are there. मेरे ख्याल से first of all the regulated unregulated sector में ही problem है. Only 3 they have written in the unregulated sector on the page number 3, please. Anna, instead of 3 it is 33 actually. So they have made it little bit short. Appointment, remuneration, procedure, fixing. ठीक है, इसके बाद देखेंगे मटेरियल पे देयर आर सम चेंजेस व्हिच नीड्स टू बी डन, सो आई थिंक दैट विल बी रीडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू यू अगेन. बिफोर स्टार्टिंग ओनली दे गिव दिस नोट्स मे बी. हाँ, सॉरी आई डिडंट गेट यू. हाँ, सेकंड पॉइंट. दिस वाज द फर्स्ट वन, दिस इज द सेकंड पॉइंट. So what is the declaration number 1? The individual or the firm is not disqualified under section 141. Point number B, the individual. Why it is written like this, individual or a firm? In India, you can practice in 3 forms. You can make a sole proprietor, you can make a partnership firm of practicing CMS, or you can also make a LLP. तो LLP एंड पार्टनरशिप फर्म को हम लोग फर्म ऑफ ऑडिटर्स बोलते हैं, और सोल प्रोप्राइटर को हम लोग इंडिविजुअल बोलते हैं. दैट्स द रीजन. द इंडिविजुअल और द फर्म इज क्वालिफाइड टू बी अ कॉस्ट ऑडिटर. Third, they are qualified to accept this cost audit as it is within their limit of doing the audits. And D point में you will write the firm, individual or partners are not having any pending cases and litigations in any statutory authority or courts in India. और आउटसाइड इंडिया. ठीक है. So this is what the four disqualifications which you need to understand. The firm, individual or partners are not having any pending cases or litigations in any statutory authority or courts in India or outside India. ये आपको अपॉइंटमेंट करने से पहले ली जाती है. ठीक है. And once you got appointment, then your intimation that definitely goes to the central government in form number CRA2 that we have already covered under section number 148 the provision. Clear? So up to this point, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. No problem. So with that, our cost audit ka basics part is over. What part is over? Basics. And I think history and preamble to I already made you right. From 1944 say 2014 the what was the journey after that, right? Hanji. You yourself is confused. 180 days starts when the appointment does. 180 states starts on a financial year. Let me tell you one thing. Which financial year is going on right now? 22, 23. Right or not? Let's say for example, I am a Vizag steel plant. आपको मेरा cost audit करना है. तो as per the law, when should I have appointed my own cost auditor? From the commencement. आप दोनों के word में misplace हो रहे हो. You have to appoint from the 180 days from the commencement of financial year. ये financial year start कब हुआ? 1 अप्रैल 2022 में. उसके अगर 180 डेज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 6 मंथ्स भी लगाए तो क्या डेट आ रही है? 30th सितंबर. तो मैंने 30 सितंबर 22 तक अपना कौन सा ऑडिटर अपॉइंट किया? कॉस्ट ऑडिटर. बट ऑडिट स्टार्ट्स व्हेन अकाउंटिंग एंड्स. वो वेट करेगा अप टू 31 मार्च 2023. तो मेरा ऑडिट स्टार्ट कब होगा? 1 अप्रैल 2023 से. फ्रॉम 180 डेज फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल ईयर. तो यू अपॉइंट 180 डेज फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल ईयर और आप ऑडिट कंप्लीट करते हो 180 डेज फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल ईयर. You are confusing it because beginning of the financial year is the end of the previous financial year. You are getting confused. तो same 22 का beginning क्या हुआ? 1 अप्रैल. इसका end क्या हुआ? 31 मार्च. तो completion starts from end and appointment starts from the beginning. Did you get the point? So you do have a gap. अब now question arises, इतना gap क्यों? The gap is you have to do planning, you have to acquire the knowledge of client's business. आपको planning, strategy, program, आपको 5 से 6 महीने लगेंगे अपने क्लाइंट को समझने के लिए. That's the reason it needs that we always appoint the auditor in advance. Clear everyone? यहाँ पे कोई और डाउट है तो बोलो. Yes sir. If the board of directors कॉस्ट ऑडिट रिपोर्ट इन एजीएम. नहीं, एजीएम में सिर्फ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट का फाइनेंशियल ऑडिट अडॉप्ट होता है. याद रखना, कॉस्ट ऑडिट इनडायरेक्टली, इफ आई हैव टू टेल यू थ्योरेटिकली एंड प्रैक्टिकली, कॉस्ट ऑडिट इज अ प्राइवेट अफेयर. कॉस्ट ऑडिट में शेयर होल्डर्स इंटरेस्टेड है ही नहीं. अब तुम मुझे बताओ, शेयर होल्डर ने कंपनी को क्या दिया? कैपिटल. उसको क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है? डिविडेंड. तो डिविडेंड होता है एजीएम में, डायरेक्टर्स होते हैं, फाइनेंशियल ऑडिटर होता है, एंड what do you say, adoption of financial statement. These are the four ordinary businesses which will take place in what? AGM. अच्छा मेरे को बताओ, if you are holding the shares of Apple company, you will never be interested in knowing that कि how Apple manufactures this pencil. आपको किससे फर्क पड़ेगा कि आपको डिविडेंड आ रहा है या नहीं, आपको कैपिटल एप्रिसिएशन हो रही है नहीं. ये फर्क किसको? ये कंपनी को फर्क गिरता है कि हाउ वी कैन ऑप्टिमाइज अवर कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. तो कॉस्ट ऑडिट इज बेसिकली नेवर एवर फ्रॉम द शेयर होल्डर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. ये हमेशा कंपनी का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू होता है टू अंडरस्टैंड कि इज माई कॉस्ट इज एक्सेसिव और अंडर, एम आई डूइंग ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ द रिसोर्सेज. जैसे मैं तुम्हें एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल बताता हूं. लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम टेकिंग योर क्लासेस. योर फीडबैक विल लेट मी नो एम आई गोइंग गुड और नॉट. तो फीडबैक फ्रॉम द थर्ड पार्टी is always an input for your improvisation. Same way, company is not able to realize the fact that कि where they are going wrong in the costing. तो इसके लिए हमने किसको अपॉइंट किया? कॉस्ट ऑडिटर, ताकि वो कंपनी के उनके वीकनेसेस बता सके कि भैया यहाँ पे आपकी ओवर हो रही है, यहाँ पे आपकी अंडर हो रही है, दिस इज द देयर इज अ एरिया वेयर यू कैन डू द ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन. तो वी नीड अ थर्ड पार्टी ओपिनियन to understand whether my cost of production is good or not. The cost audit is basically a private affair. It is never going to get discussed in what AGM. इसीलिए इसको अपॉइंट भी बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स करते हैं. नहीं तो नॉर्मल ऑडिटर को कौन अपॉइंट करता है बताओ? शेयर होल्डर्स. वो सबके सामने अपॉइंट किया जाता है, इसको नहीं. इसका सिंपल वन इंटीमेशन यू हैव टू गिव इट टू सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कि यस वी हैव अपॉइंटेड अ विच ऑडिटर. इट्स ऑल प्राइवेट अफेयर. दैट इज द रीजन इट इज नॉट अ स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट. ये लॉफुल नहीं है, ये कंपल्सरी नहीं है. ये तभी होगा जब आपका टर्नओवर का लिमिट टच होगा. डिड यू गेट द पॉइंट? एनीबडी एल्स हु इज हैविंग अ डाउट? कुछ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट वीर किसमें? सेक्रेटरी ऑफ एमसीए, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स. हम उनको इन्फॉर्म करते हैं कि यस वी हैव अपॉइंटेड अ विच ऑडिटर? कॉस्ट ऑडिटर. तो कभी भी याद रखना यहाँ पे जब सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट वर्ड आएगा ना, हमेशा याद रखना वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ व्हाट? कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स. डन. So these are your cost records. एक काम करो, just write a list, write one list of cost records. Obviously we need not write the full fledged. I'll make you write 2233 just for your examination purpose. Put the heading list of cost records. Under that A point, production related. Production related. Production related. Under that point number 1, material consumption records. Material consumption records. Material wise and product wise. Material consumption records. Material wise, product wise. Second, wastage and scrap records. Wastage and scrap records. तो ये हो गया अपने प्रोडक्शन रिलेटेड. ठीक है. अंडर द प्रोडक्शन रिलेटेड आई मेड यू राइट 2 points. वन इज कंजम्पशन मटेरियल वाइज एंड प्रोडक्ट वाइज, एंड सेकंड वन इज scrap and wastage related records. Second one, machinery related. Machinery related. Machine utilization reports. Machine utilization reports. Running hours, idleness, etc. Machine utilization reports, running hours, idleness, etc. Third, WIP and FG related. WIP and FG related. WIP and FG related. Under that, cost in relation to center wise and product wise. Cost relating to in relation to center wise and product wise. Bracket में लिख लो WIP. Cost in relation to center wise, product wise. Center wise and product wise. Bracket में लिख लो WIP. तो जब अपन WIP के रिकॉर्ड्स मेंटेन करते हैं, we maintain it center wise and product wise. And when it is FG, second point, cost relating to product wise. Cost relating to product wise, packet wise or pack wise, product wise, pack wise, type wise. FG, bracket में FG. Repairs and maintenance related. Fourth one, repairs and maintenance related. In case they will ask you the example, you can write all these things, right? Repairs and maintenance related. Materials, spares and labors consumed records. Materials, spares and labors consumption records. Materials, spares and labors consumption records. Second point, additional records when it is workshop. additional records when it is a workshop. Utility records. Next one, utility records. Utility records. Under that, right, input output records. Input output records. Second, center-wise cost consumption records. Input output records. Center-wise cost consumption records. Source-wise power generation records. Source-wise power generation records. मतलब how much power you are generating from thermal source, how much from the coal combustion, how much from the water hydra plant. You know ना windmills. तो अगर आपकी कंपनी के खुद के विंड मिल्स है तो वो विंड एनर्जी हो गई, वो सोर्स हो गया उसका विंड. अगर आपका थर्मल है, आपने पहाड़ों पे फैक्ट्री बनाई हुई है, तो वो आपकी हाइड्रा इलेक्ट्रिक पावर प्लांट होता है. कई बार आपने देखा होगा इन द एक्सट्रीम आउटस्कर्ट्स में आप कोल कंबंशंस होते हैं बड़े बड़े वाले. सो यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि फ्रॉम विच सोर्स यू आर जनरेटिंग द इंडस्ट्री. तो दीज आर द 4 to 5 एग्जांपल्स यू कैन राइट व्हेन इट कम्स टू विच रिकॉर्ड्स, कॉस्ट रिकॉर्ड्स. ठीक है. So that brings an end to you this part. अब अपने यहाँ पे forms have started, CRA forms. एक second. I'm looking for that parts which your cost. This is CRA2 form. You can see that. What is CRA2? So when we intimate it to the central government, this is a form. Form for intimation of the cost auditor by the company to the central government. This is how the form look. ये सिर्फ आपके उसके just to check it out once कि how does the form look like. क्योंकि future में आपको भी पता होना चाहिए कि how your information is being intimated by the company. Each and every detail. ये हो गया अपना CRA form. ये अपना CRA3 हो गया. क्या है CRA3? Form of cost audit. अपन इसे डिटेल में पढ़ना है अभी. वी आर नॉट इनटू द रूल्स सो फार, दैट्स व्हाई मैं ऐसे पढ़ा रहा हूँ. आई एम लुकिंग फॉर द अनदर सेक्शंस ऑफ द कंपनी ऑडिट सो दैट आई कैन मेक इट available to you at one place. You can see that how do we see I or we have been appointed as a cost auditor under subsection 3 of 148. So this is we believe that all the info. ये same like a cost audit report is very similar to our statutory audit report. So this is CRA3, right? And this is annexure to the cost audit report. जैसे हम लोग कंपनी के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन देते हैं, क्वांटिटेटिव इंफॉर्मेशन, ये सब अपने को डिटेल में पढ़ना है. एंड दे डू आस्क यू द क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम दीज फॉर्म्स. तो ये अपन करेंगे CRA रूल्स में. दीज फॉर्म्स विल डू इन CRA. नॉट नेसेसरी टू रिमेंबर इट लाइक दिस. आई विल टेल यू व्हाट टू रिमेंबर व्हाट नॉट. डोंट गेट वरीड. इतना कुछ भी नहीं करना है, जस्ट स्मॉल शॉर्ट में लिखेंगे. ये देखो इतना बड़ा फॉर्म है, तुम्हारी आत्मा ऑन द स्पॉट परमात्मा से मिल जाएगी. ये क्या है? CRA4. ये कौन सा था? फॉर्म फॉर फाइलिंग कॉस्ट ऑडिट रिपोर्ट. ठीक है ना. तो ये सारे फॉर्म्स अपन एक बार गो थ्रू करेंगे जस्ट टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड. ये देखो हवा टाइट. ये यहां से अपने क्या शुरू हो जाते हैं? प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चंस. मैंने बताया था ना हर एक चैप्टर में आपको क्या आएंगे? प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चंस, राइट. तो यहां से अपने देखो फ्रॉम फॉलोइंग आर द फिगर्स एक्सट्रैक्टेड. स्टेटमेंट प्रिपेयर द कॉस्ट विद द ट्रायल बैलेंस ऑफ ABC लिमिटेड विच इज अ सिंगल प्रोडक्ट कंपनी. ये आपको दिया और आपको कैलकुलेट क्या करना है? प्रॉफिट एज पर द परसेंटेज ऑफ वैल्यू एडिशन. वैल्यू एडिशन एज पर. तो ये वैल्यू एडिशन स्टेटमेंट करके प्रैक्टिकल्स होते हैं. उसका पहले मैं तुम्हें फॉर्मूला बताऊंगा, देन विल डू. बहुत सिंपल है. अपने अकाउंटेंसी में भी यू हैव द सेम क्वेश्चंस. तो कॉस्ट एंड मैनेजमेंट ऑडिट के जो प्रैक्टिकल्स है ना, दे आर द मिक्स ऑफ योर कॉस्टिंग प्रैक्टिकल्स एज वेल एज अकाउंटिंग पर. क्योंकि कॉस्ट ऑडिटर मस्ट बी प्रोफिशिएंट इन बोथ. इसलिए हमें CAS भी आने चाहिए, CAAS भी आने चाहिए. बट CAS कॉस्ट अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स भी पता होना चाहिए और कॉस्ट ऑडिटिंग एंड एश्योरेंस. तो दैट्स व्हाई व्हाट यू हैव डन इन द मिक्स ऑफ ऑल द कॉस्टिंग सब्जेक्ट सो फार इन योर CMA, ऑल द प्रैक्टिकल्स कैन बी आस्क्ड इन दिस पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर. तो बहुत सारे प्रैक्टिकल्स है तुम्हें. Why I am telling you not to follow that material? Only 2-3 practicals are being given in that material. I'll tell them to revise the material and give you the more practicals. क्योंकि you need to have 2 to 3 practice at your home और 3 to 4 questions will be doing it in the class itself. So I'm just looking forward क्योंकि ये brand new material है, that is for you as well as for me. ये आ गया अपना किसके बारे में, कॉस्ट ऑडिट. दिस इज द टॉपिक आई वाज लुकिंग फॉर. यहाँ पे अपन हाँ ये वाला टॉपिक आई वाज लुकिंग. ओके एक सेकेंड सर, एक सेकेंड. विच वन? ADT-4 is the form number which you intimate when there is a fraud reporting. Fraud reporting के लिए ADT-4 फॉर्म लगता है. Let me show you here. एक सेकेंड. I know. I only made you write ADT-4. मैं तुम्हें बता रहा हूँ. Let me show you in material also where it is. It is 143. ओ भाई क्या हो गया? ओ हेलो, बात करनी बाहर जाके कर ले भाई. क्लास में पढ़ना, थोड़ा सीरियस हो जाओ. अननेसेसरी मेरे को नहीं चाहिए यहाँ पे, मैं बता दे रहा हूँ. ठीक है, टू एन एक्सटेंड यू कैन जेल अप इन द क्लास बट नॉट दैट मच इनफॉर्मल. थोड़ा डेकोरम मेंटेन करो क्लास का. फाइनल में हो, इंटरमीडिएट में नहीं हो. वेदर यू लाइक इट और नॉट, माई क्लास विल बी लाइक दिस ओनली. इफ यू आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड आई कैन थ्रो यू आउट ऑफ द क्लास इमीडिएटली, नो प्रॉब्लम. होते होंगे बाकी फैकल्टीज माइट बी डूइंग द सेम थिंग विद यू बट दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क आउट इन माई क्लास. अंडरस्टूड? What is the major difference between you and me, frankly speaking? एक डिग्री का डिफरेंस है and you expect people to respect you in this way. थोड़ा प्रोफेशनलिज्म का पी लेके आओ ना लाइफ में. कुछ तो पता चले. हर बार नॉन सीरियस रहना तो कैसा? When I'm talking to him, you are completely talking rubbish and all. ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड पूछ लेना रोहित सर की क्लासेस कैसे होते, फिर आके डिसीजन लेना बैठने का. एक ही चीज करना बस पूरी क्लास में, मेरा ट्रिगर पॉइंट टच मत करना, विच इज इनडिसिप्लिन इन द क्लास. कितना मजाक मस्ती करना करो मेरे साथ, लेकिन व्हेन आई एम टेकिंग द क्लास, और तुम्हें पता है ये लाइव रिकॉर्डिंग चल रही, और उनको भी ये पता चल रहा है कि तेरी वाट लग रही है क्लास में. थोड़ा सा तो प्रोफेशनलिज्म लेके हो सर, फ्यूचर में काम आएगा, नॉट नाउ. तो व्हाट आई वाज टेलिंग यू अबाउट 143 सबसेक्शन 3 में जब आप मेरे को पूछ रहे हो व्हाट इज दैट ADT-4, ADT-4 हमेशा फ्रॉड रिपोर्टिंग फॉर्म होता है. दैट इज विच वन? फ्रॉड रिपोर्ट. अब वो उसे हम लोग CRA-4 नहीं बोल सकते. रीजन बीइंग वेरी सिंपल. ADT-4 is a fraud reporting form that is applicable for the secretarial audit also, cost audit also and financial audit. क्योंकि 143 सबसेक्शन 12 सिर्फ आपके ऊपर एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, वो प्रैक्टिसिंग CAs को भी एप्लीकेबल है. प्रैक्टिसिंग CAs के, तो उसके केस में हम लोग CRA नंबर नहीं दे सकते इसे. CRA नंबर ऑफ द फॉर्म्स आर ओनली कनेक्टेड विद योर ऑडिट. वो कॉस्ट ऑडिट रिलेटेड फॉर्म्स है. ADT का मतलब होता है ऑडिटिंग फॉर्म्स. विच फॉर्म्स? इसमें तीनों कवर्ड होते हैं. कॉस्ट ऑडिट भी कवर्ड होता है, सेक्रेटेरियल भी कवर्ड होता है, स्टैट्यूटरी भी. तो जब भी आइदर यू फाइंड आउट ऑफ फ्रॉड और I find out a fraud while doing financial, or she finds out a fraud while doing secretarial audit, our approach will remain same. क्योंकि fraud has no connection with costing, with secretary and with what? Chartered accountancy. It is a common form. That is why the form number is ADT-4. That I made you right. That is what I'm seeing, that ki what sections of company audit has been included in your portion. So this is 148 subsection 3. दिस इज 140. अभी मैंने तुम्हें बताया था ना डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन, सेम डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन. तो व्हाई आई एम पुटिंग द कंपनी ऑडिट इन वन साइड, कि एज एंड व्हेन यू सी योर मटेरियल, व्हेन यू आर, देखो प्रॉब्लम विद द CMA मटेरियल इज उन्होंने क्या किया हुआ है, कंपनी ऑडिट कहीं और पे दिया हुआ है, 148 8 जगह. तो माई प्रॉब्लम इज टू मेक इट अवेलेबल एट वन प्लेस. तो वंस वी स्टार्टेड द कंपनी ऑडिट पार्ट, लेट्स फिनिश द कंपनी ऑडिट पार्ट, एंड वंस विल स्टार्ट द CRA rules, विल फिनिश ऑफ 1 to 6 all the CRA rules. One will start with the practical questions, will vanish off practical. तो हर एक चैप्टर को करने का एक स्टैंडर्ड प्रोडक्ट होता है. इन्होंने क्या है, जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ इंट्रोड्यूसिंग द न्यू मटेरियल्स, कॉस्ट ऑडिट आधा इधर लिख दिया एंड आधा आफ्टर द कॉस्ट रिकॉल्स. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? तो आई एम ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग इट अप. नाउ पुट द नेक्स्ट हेडिंग एवरीवन. सेक्शन का हेडिंग, सेक्शन नंबर 139 to 148. सेक्शन नंबर 139 to 148. अब मैं तुम्हें बता दूं, सेक्शन नंबर 139 to 148 टोटल सेक्शंस आर नॉट देयर इन योर पोर्शन. वी हैव टू स्टार्ट डायरेक्टली विद सेक्शन नंबर व्हाट 141. पहले मैं तुम्हें इंट्रोड्यूस करवाता हूँ व्हाट इज 138 टू 141. 138 टॉक्स अबाउट इंटरनल ऑडिट. विच ऑडिट एवरीवन? आपके पोर्शन में नहीं है 138. 139 में वी टॉक अबाउट अपॉइंटमेंट, वी टॉक अबाउट कैजुअल वैकेंसी, वी टॉक अबाउट रोटेशन ऑफ स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर. विच ऑडिटर? तो दैट इज एप्लीकेबल ओनली टू द प्रैक्टिसिंग सीएस, नॉट टू द प्रैक्टिसिंग सीएमएस, क्योंकि प्रैक्टिसिंग सीएमएस का अपॉइंटमेंट इज डन बाय द बोर्ड, वेयर एज द प्रैक्टिसिंग सीएस का अपॉइंटमेंट इज डन बाय द शेयर होल्डर. तो दैट इज द रीजन यू डोंट हैव सेक्शन नंबर 139. मैं तुम्हें रीजन भी बताता हूं. 140 जो सेक्शन है दैट इज कॉल्ड आरआर सेक्शन, रेजिग्नेशन एंड रिमूवल. ये आपको भी एप्लीकेबल है, सबको एप्लीकेबल है, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली आपके मटेरियल में नहीं दिया हुआ. तो डायरेक्टली वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद द सेक्शन नंबर 141. व्हाट इज 141? एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया अंडर सेक्शन 141 फॉर द कंपनीज एक्ट विद द रूल नंबर 10. पहले तो मैं तुम्हें बता दूं कि हु आर अलाउड, हु आर नॉट अलाउड टू बी क्वालिफाइड इन इंडिया टू बी द विच ऑडिटर? कॉस्ट ऑडिटर. ये 3 रूल हमेशा याद रखना. क्वालिफिकेशन आर ऑफ 3 टाइप्स. व्हाट आर द 3 टाइप्स? आप इंडिया में सोल प्रोप्राइटर भी क्वालिफाई हो, you are qualified to practice in India in the form of what? Partnership firm. And in India you are qualified to practice in form of company form of firm is not allowed. You are not allowed to open a company of cost accountants in India. What are the 3 things you are allowed to open? Sole proprietor, partnership firm. Obviously यहाँ पे single practicing CMA होगा, यहाँ पे firm होगी. This is also called what? Firm. But there are some rules you need to understand in the firm. पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म में रूल नंबर 1 इज योर मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पार्टनर्स मस्ट बी प्रैक्टिसिंग इन इंडिया. अब इसके ऊपर तुम्हें एक प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. लेट मी टेल यू हाउ. सपोज आपकी एक पार्टनरशिप फर्म है. व्हाट इज द नेम? एबीसी एंड को. व्हाट इज द नेम? एबीसी एंड को. तो एबीसी एंड को में लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल 17 प्रैक्टिसिंग सीएमएस है. हाउ मेनी? उसमें से 17 में से 9 आर प्रैक्टिसिंग इन इंडिया एंड 10, remaining 8 are practicing in US. So 9 are practicing in India, 8 are practicing in US. Majority are practicing in India. This is qualified to be an auditor in India. लेकिन अगर मैं इसे vice versa कर दूं तो, if the 9 are practicing outside India and 8 are practicing only in India, you are disqualified to practice in India. This is also one of the reason of your what? Disqualification. Sometimes they make this question more complicated. How? They may give you the question like this कि there are total 23 partners and let me tell you one thing, there is no upper limit on the partners of your practicing firm. Minimum 2 but no upper limit. You can have 1000 partners also in your firm, so there is no upper limit. So let's say for example you have 23 partners in your firm. 23 में 4 are non-practicing CMAs. Practicing or non-practicing? And remaining 19 are what? इस 19 में now 10 are practicing in India and 9 are practicing in outside India. अब मेरे को ये बताओ, is this firm qualified to be an auditor in India? Did you understand the difference between this question? That was a lollipop question. जहां पे आपको बताया कि 17 practicing है, उसमें से 9 in India and 8 are outside है. नर्सरी का बच्चा भी आंसर दे देगा. मेजोरिटी सर ने बोला तो that's why. मेन पॉइंट आता है like this question. अब ध्यान से सुनना जो मैं बता रहा हूँ. You have to ignore these 4. They are practicing or non. It means your majority again will be calculated in 19. अब बताओ, are they qualified? Yes, they are qualified. तो रूल नंबर 1, अगर आप इंडिया में प्रैक्टिसिंग फॉर्म ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म बनाते हो तो रूल नंबर 1, योर मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पार्टनर्स मस्ट बी प्रैक्टिसिंग इन इंडिया. आई विल मेक यू राइट प्रॉपरली. ठीक है. सेकेंड पॉइंट, कैन यू हैव अ मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी पार्टनरशिप फर्म और नॉट? आंसर इज यस. अगर आप एक सीएमए हो, आप विद 8 पीपल्स यू कैन एंटर अ पार्टनरशिप फर्म. आप अपनी पार्टनरशिप फर्म सीए के साथ भी बना सकते हो, सीएस के साथ भी बना सकते हो, एमबीए के साथ भी बना सकते हो, एलएलबी के साथ भी बना सकते हो, एक्चुरियल साइंटिस्ट के साथ भी बना सकते हो, बैचलर ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, बैचलर ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग एंड बैचलर ऑफ आर्किटेक्चर. These are the 8 people with whom you can enter your partnership with, and this 8 is an exhaustive list. No one can be added in this list. मतलब if you want to have a multidisciplinary firm, तो आप CA, CS and CMA of course, LLB and MBA, actuarial scientist. I don't know whether you have an idea or not. Actuarial scientist is also one of the professional course in India. Bachelor of Technology, Bachelor of Engineering, and Bachelor of what? Architecture. These are the 8 people with whom you can enter a multidisciplinary partnership firm. That is a rule number 2. Same rules applicable to when you are making a what? LLP. What is LLP? This is the most popular form which nowadays people are following. अगर आप practice में आते हो तो I will suggest you in case instead of partnership form you should better go for what? LLP. क्योंकि LLP में good thing is what? कि your liability is limited. क्योंकि LLP is nothing but the mix of two organizations. Limited liability word कहाँ से लिया गया? कंपनी से. और पार्टनरशिप, तो इट्स अ कॉम्बिनेशन, गुड कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप एंड व्हाट? कंपनी. तो बेटर दैट व्हेनेवर इन फ्यूचर यू आर गोइंग टू ऑप्ट फॉर, go for LLP. But LLP में 2 rules extra are there. Same rules applicable, but 2 rules are extra. Rule number 1, it should be Indian LLP. Which LLP? A US LLP. जैसे US में एक कोर्स होता है सीमा, CAMA, वो बंदे इंडिया में आके प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर सकते. If you want to practice, they have to come. If they want to practice in India they have to make their new LLP जिसके नाम में India LLP is must. What should be in your name? India LLP. For us it is not required because we are already Indian residents. So when we are making an LLP, our LLP like ABC and Co LLP. But for them it will be like ABC and Co India LLP. What is the name? India. तो LLP अगर आपको बनानी है तो it should be which LLP? और LLP में एक और प्रॉब्लम है, only individuals can become the partners. Who can become the partners? Individual. Let me give you an example. Suppose इन दोनों की एक LLP है और हमारी दोनों की एक LLP है. Our LLP wants to become a partner in this LLP, not allowed. LLP cannot be the partner in LLP. I want to be the partner, allowed. So who are only allowed? Individuals, not the entity. These are the 2 rules which are additionally applicable to whom? LLP. Did you get the point? तो बताओ, what are the 3 forms by which you are qualified to be in India? Sole proprietor, partnership firm, LLP. Partnership के 2 rules क्या बताया मैंने? कि rule number 1, majority of the partners must be practicing in India, and you can have a multidisciplinary partnership also with the 8 people around. Who are the 8? चलो मैं तुमसे पूछता हूँ, can I am a CMA, can I enter a partnership with CS, CA, BCom, BTech, yes, BArc, BE, Bachelor of Engineering, MBA, Actuarial Scientist, CPA of America. क्यों नो? Which professional? Foreign professional. समझ में आया? So with the Indian professionals you can, but with the foreign professional you can or you can't? You can't. Now it means we can work with them, but we can't enter into partnership with them. मान लो अगर यूएस का एक सीपीए है, वो आपको बोलता है कि रोहित सर आप मेरे साथ ना जेवी कर लो, जेवी वो कर सकते हैं, बट इफ ही वांट्स टू एंटर एज अ पार्टनर इन माय फर्म, अलाउड और नॉट अलाउड? नॉट अलाउड. तो फॉरेन प्रोफेशनल्स इज अ बिग नो. यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू एंटर अ पार्टनरशिप विद द फॉरेन प्रोफेशनल्स. तो ये थोड़े से एक्स्ट्रा रूल्स है विच यू शुड नो इन द कंपनी. दैट्स व्हाई आई वांटेड टू पुट द कंपनी ऑडिट इन वन प्लेस. उसके बाद अपन रूल्स, पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म्स, ये वो जितने भी उनके प्रैक्टिकल्स हैं, वैल्यू एडिशन, वन प्लेस पे करेंगे, फॉर्म्स एंड ऑल. तो फर्स्ट लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड द कंप्लीट टॉपिक्स ऑन व्हाट? कंपनी ऑडिट. तो दैट इज व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू लर्न इन सेक्शन नंबर. But section number 141 not only talks about qualifications, it also talks about what? Disqualification. Read the disqualification number 1. A body corporate, however, LLP registered is allowed. मैंने तुम्हें अभी बताया कि what are the 3 things which are allowed in India? Sole proprietor, partnership firm or LLP. You know what is the reason they have written body corporate, however, LLP? Because LLP is also a body corporate. All the other body corporates are not allowed. Only one is allowed, LLP. It means in India, can you make a company of practicing cost accountants? क्योंकि कंपनी को कैसे रिप्रेजेंट किया जाता है बताना मेरे को. हाउ डू वी recognize some entity as a company? उसके पीछे या तो लिमिटेड वर्ड होगा या प्राइवेट लिमिटेड. हमारी फर्म के पीछे क्या होता है? को या एंड एसोसिएट्स. दिस डज नॉट रिप्रेजेंट कि वी आर अ कंपनी. तो इंडिया में आपको तीन चीजें अलाउड है, ये याद रखना: सोल प्रोप्राइटर, पार्टनरशिप फर्म और एलएलपी. बॉडी कॉर्पोरेट अलाउड और डिस्क्वालिफाइड. तो you're disqualified. Number one, you are not allowed to make in India a what? Body corporate. Except which body corporate is allowed? Only LLP. Second thing, an officer or employee of the company. Let's say, for example, A and B co is there. This is one CMA firm. They both have been appointed as an auditor of Vizag Steel Plant as a cost auditor. Mr. B, the partner of A, is already working as a finance manager in this company as an employee. Allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. The whole firm is disqualified. Not only B, A is also disqualified, rather the whole firm is also what? Disqualified. If you or your partner is working as an officer or employee in your client company, your whole firm is automatically disqualified. Acha, will your answer change if he is working as a director? Now also disqualified. KMP stands for then also what? Disqualified. क्योंकि इससे आपका कंपनी के साथ फाइनेंशियल रिलेशनशिप हो जाता है. विच रिलेशनशिप? तो सर गलती तो बी की है. Why A should suffer? Not only A, the whole firm will suffer. The whole firm will be what? Disqualified. So what is your disqualification number 2? You should not be the officer or you should not be the employee in your client company. Who? Neither you nor your partner. Read the third one. A person who is a partner or who is in employment with the officer or employee. अब मैं तुम्हें एक क्वेश्चन दूंगा, ध्यान से आंसर देना, ठीक है? A and B are the partners in one CMA practicing firm. They are the auditors of Vizag Steel Plant. Vizag Steel Plant का एक CEO है मिस्टर सुरेश, ठीक है? मिस्टर सुरेश का एक पार्टनरशिप फर्म है, his own separate business in the form of partnership firm. Mr. B is a partner in this firm. Did you understand the question? They are the cost auditors of Vizag Steel Plant. Vizag Steel Plant का CEO Mr. Suresh is having one partnership firm. And from the AB and Co, Mr. B is a partner in this partnership firm. Now tell me, are you the officer and employee or you are in partnership with the officer and employee? Who is in the partnership? B. With whom? Suresh. Suresh कौन है? MD. So is it a direct disqualification or indirect? Indirect. Now also the whole firm is what? Disqualified. मतलब ultimately the end product of letting you know the disqualification is to make you understand कि how important it is for cost auditor to be independent. The moment Companies Act को लगा कि आपका यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा भी फैमिली फाइनेंशियल रिलेशनशिप आ रहा है, Companies Act will make you what? Disqualified. So that is what is written in the third point. Up to third point. What is the C point? A person who is a partner who is in employment of what? Officer or employee of the company. The difference between the second and third is, in the second you are the officer and employee, but in the third you are not the officer and employee, you are in partnership with the officer and employee. आप वहां पे डायरेक्टर नहीं हो, आप वहां के डायरेक्टर के साथ क्या हो? पार्टनर हो. Then also your whole firm is what? Disqualified. Read the fourth one. A person मतलब me and my partner plus मेरा क्या? Relative holding any security or interest in the company. अब सुनना ध्यान से. A and B are the cost auditors firm. They are the auditors of VSP, Vizag Steel Plant. ठीक है? Vizag Steel Plant. B is holding 3 equity shares of Vizag Steel Plant. Whole firm is what? Disqualified. ना आप ना आपका पार्टनर, ध्यान से सुनना, neither you nor your partner should be holding any security of any value. एक रुपए की भी सिक्योरिटी नहीं होनी चाहिए. Then you and your partner and the whole firm is what? Disqualified. Sir, only one equity share? No, disqualified. And immediate disqualification. So neither by you it should be held nor by your partner. So what about the relatives? अब ध्यान से सुनना. Relatives are allowed to hold 1 lakh of which value? Face value. Up to 1 lakh of face value relatives are allowed. But ये relatives है, not relative. It is not a limit of one relative. It's a limit of relatives put together. अच्छा, let's say for example, a relative is now holding 1,10,000 of face value. Now what is the answer? Then also your firm is what? Disqualified. Because limit is how much? But what is the disqualification difference between me and my partner holding and my relative? अब सुनना ध्यान से. तुम्हारे केस में any security any value and relative के केस में up to 1 lakh. तुम्हारे केस में immediate disqualification. What do you mean by immediate? On the spot. यहां पे after 60 days. After how many days? Why after 60 days? So that you can motivate your relative to bring it down to the level of what? 1 lakh. At least you can talk to your relative ना, so that they can sell some investment and bring it down to what? 1 lakh. तो तुम्हारे केस में immediate है. You and your partner के केस में immediate disqualification. But relative के केस में if it is more than 1 lakh, you will be given by company law 60 days to take the corrective measures. So what do you mean by corrective measures? Tried your level best to bring it down to the level of what? 1 lakh. Did you get the point? तो ये हो गया अपनी 4 disqualification. Tell me the 4 disqualifications of a cost auditor. You should not open a body corporate in India. Otherwise you are disqualified. Body corporate means company. LLP allowed? Partnership firm allowed? Sole proprietor allowed? Allowed. Second, you should not be the. और जब मैं you बोल रहा हूं, it means you and your partner. Third के केस में, you and your partner should not be in employment or partnership with the officer and employee. Which one is direct disqualification? Second one. Which one is indirect? Third one. Fourth point में क्या बोला मैंने? If you and your partner is holding any security of any value, you will be immediately disqualified. But when it comes to your relatives, up to 1 lakh of face value. Suppose they are increasing more than 1 lakh face value, then also not immediate, you will be given 60 days. So that 60 days में you can take the which measure? Corrective measures to bring it down to the level of 1 lakh. Otherwise your whole firm is what? Disqualified. तो फर्स्ट, सेकंड एंड थर्ड में रिलेटिव नहीं था. फोर्थ में आके क्या ऐड हो गया? अब फिफ्थ में भी आएगा, सिक्स्थ में भी आएगा, सेवंथ में भी आएगा. डिड यू गेट द पॉइंट? रिमेनिंग विल कंटिन्यू इन द टुमारो सेशन. ठीक है. आज एक्चुअली आई वाज सिटिंग डाउन एक्चुअली, तो दैट मटेरियल आई केम टू नो दैट हैज बीन distributed to you. Don't follow that material. I will tell them to make sure that new material will be prepared. I think so many things are missing in that material, right? So whatever is missing, that I'll make you write. Okay. Okay.